everybody, and welcome back to some more Create a Mechanism. Today, we are going to be making ourselves the grindstones, so that way we can go ahead and start automating singularities in all forms. It's a very interesting process that we're going to have to do, and I put it all on a list. So, it's going to be a process of things that's very strange. So to start it off, we are going to need to make ourselves some crushing wheels. So to start off, we can go ahead and put a hopper here and a cobble generator here, because we're going to need cobble for this. And what's going to happen is it's going to start slowly generating cobble that should get put into here. There we go. We got our first piece of cobblestone. Now you might wonder, how is it that we got it from down here all the way up to there? Well, we actually did something very interesting. Didn't I turn the steam off? There we go. Yeah, this is another thing that I did in between episodes. I made a steam boiler. Very interesting stuff, but that's not what's important. So how we managed to get this thing working is we can actually connect the mechanical crafters together and segment things off, which is going to be very important for this one, as for all this outer layer, it's going to need to be cobblestone. For the center area, we're going to need ourselves some sticks. I believe I'm going to need 5 of those. We're just going to need to go ahead, slap those sticks there, and then those are all ready to go. And then now all we would need to do is just wait for the cobblestone to keep on generating. Well, all the same, we can just go ahead and then put the rest of these in here now. And there it goes. Now we get ourselves 2 crushing wheels, which are now ready and raring for processes. So we can go ahead and click automated, just because I want to go ahead and get the rest of this part ready. So yeah, it's not technically automated just yet, because while we do have the cobble, we don't have the sticks. Now, I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to get the sticks. I usually save the automation of everything possible for the last, but for right now, we can go ahead and then click, we made the crushing wheels. And we have somewhat automated crushing wheels. Now we need to automate crushing wheels, which is how we make singularities. We crush these crushing wheels in more crushing wheels. So how do we do that? I'm thinking something like this. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to have this like go out from here and then go into these crushing wheels. Now the only question then becomes if these things are able to go through, or if I need a funnel for it. I believe they'll be able to go through, but normally they're going from the top down, so I don't know if they'll need like a funnel or something. So if I go ahead and put that there, now they should be able to go out when this is made. So if I go ahead and plop this like that, and now it's going to create another crushing wheel. And if this works, these should... Oh yeah, and I forgot! Since this makes 2 for each, we get 2 singularities per process. Oh, dude, that's really good. So now we've almost automated the crushing of the crushing wheels. We really just need to get the sticks in. I have an idea for how I'm going to do that, actually.
20 minutes later. Okay,
so I actually found a way to solve all my problems with this incredibly easily, actually. So first and foremost, I added another drawer up here with one of my other funnels to take in the singularities for this. And then what I did is I just put a drawer right back here for sticks locked to it. But you might be wondering, how are you going to get sticks there? Well, actually, with my OG tree farm right over here that's helping to make charcoal. Because what I did was I made this controller access point, which is actually very easy. Right now, it just takes a brass machine and gold. And then when I connect this thing to the network, it acts as another controller. So now when things will go into this, it'll go into a connected storage drawer. In this case, right over here. So now all we need to do is just determine the way that I am currently facing. Okay, I am facing north. So we need this to go north, and then it starts working. There we go. So now with that one, that should be automating the crushing of crushing wheels, and truly automating the crushing wheels this time, and making a quantum singularity. Wait, no. These are just normal singularities. The quantum singularity is next. So for a quantum entangled singularity, what I need to do, and I don't know why this little setup is here, that makes this even more confusing, but what we do is we take a normal singularity and an ender pearl, and then we blow it up. But it looks like there's a setup that it wants me to do? But what's with the glass? What kind of glass is that? This does not help me. Oh, and another thing I just realized, if I wanted to be able to automate the quantum entangled singularity, I would first need to be able to automate TNT. Because I automated ender pearls in the last video for EMC production, so I've already got a good bit of these guys already. All the same, I need to automate TNT. I don't have a gunpowder automation, which is something I would need. Wait, how could I automate gunpowder? Because if I can figure out how to automate that, that might be good. I could sieve it through things. I can't automate sieving as far as I know. Washing. Oh, there's another thing to wash. Crushed andesite. Oh, wait. That means I'm going to need to add another one of these things. So I guess I won't be able to automate the quantum entangled singularity just yet. That's unfortunate. So all I should really need to do is just put this here in the water so that way this doesn't destroy anything else. And then throw these guys. Those are going to go all over the place if I don't be very careful about this. So I can go ahead and throw these guys right on top of this TNT. Then light this up. And the blast should hit everything in there. And there we go. Now we got ourselves 2 quantum entangled singularities. Now, I do need to check this off so that way I can progress the rest of the line. But for right now, that should be good. So next up, what I want to do is I want to just go ahead and grab a flower. I'm just going to go ahead and grab a dandelion. That way I can go ahead and get that dye. Because the next thing that we would need to do would be to kind of mix a dye with our quantum singularity. And then what that's going to do is that's going to then get ourselves a chromatic singularity. Very easy for me to get that one. And I honestly could automate this one very easily. All I would need to do is bring the quantum singularities over to a point where I have these together, and then just like automatically grow a dandelion or something, and then have that being milled to make the dye, and then have those 2 guys mixed together. So it wouldn't be that hard to automate that, but it's also just not that particularly easy. So then after that, what we would do is we would actually go ahead and throw these guys through another crushing wheel. I can go ahead and just use these ones, I think. So let's just go ahead and throw that through there. Did it actually get us all of them? Like, really? Because I'm pretty sure... Okay, yeah. So it's like, it has a really low chance for these as it goes down. But we have a 50% chance to get magenta ball, 60, 70, 80, 90. All that's really good. The one we really want, though, is actually the magenta ball. But, as you can tell, it's a very low chance for us to get this. But we can actually get more of them through putting the blue ball on top of this item drain. But what's really good is that we can actually do this for all of them. They all will just need to be put on there, and then it'll just progressively go down to the next one. So let's see. If I go ahead and throw this here... Oh, and it just does it by right-clicking it. Oh, so that's sick. Okay, so then I can just go down the line. And with this little fluid drawer that I have set up right here with a puller upgrade, pulling it over here, we're now pulling out the waste. I probably would need a better way to do this with the create way, though, rather than just going over here and right-clicking it, because that way it could just all go out like that. But I would need to be able to automate this thing first before I could realistically do that. So I really don't know how to do that. Honestly, if I find a way to do that, I'll do all that later on. But for right now, here we go. We got all these paintballs. Now, what are the paintballs for? This is actually going to be for a chromatic compound, which we are going to need to grab ourselves a few more mechanical crafters if we want to make this. Now, I need a more permanent place for this later, but for right now, I can just go ahead and rip it from here. So if we go ahead and put all these together now, we will then get ourselves our chromatic compound. And we actually get 2 of these. That's actually really good. So now with these, what we would need to do is, well, this is where it gets confusing. We need to make ourselves a refined radiance. But the way we get it is with this like mysterious conversion, which looks like it's gonna need this peculiar bell.
Later.
I looked it up, and apparently the mysterious conversion has nothing to do with the actual bell. What I need to do is I need to either drop this around a light source that it will absorb, or I need to drop it in the light of a beacon, which for those of you that don't know how a beacon is made, it involves a nether star, which is, apparently something else for that other stuff, but that's not what's important. What is important is that, this can only be done through a wither. Actually, though, I would need to fight 2 withers, because something I was going to reveal later is once I'd actually gotten this thing, is that this thing down here, before we can make the next mechanism, this involves a nether star, which isn't consumed, so that's good, but I'm going to need to fight at least 2 withers. I obviously can't fight these yet. So I don't know what the whole thing with, like, being surrounded by a light source is. Like, maybe I can throw it near the fire or something. So if I just, like, leave this here around the torches, will this, like, do something? Oh! It's absorbing it. Oh. Okay. Interesting. I think it's almost ready, though. Okay. Wait. I see it up on the JEI. It is almost ready. Okay, so I should not need to fight another wither just yet. But this is cool, so one more should do it, right? Like, if we go ahead and... Oh! There we go! Now we've got ourselves our refined radiance. That is good, though, so now if I actually go and consult this thing, I've made a quantum singularity, I've made the chromatic compound, I've made the paintballs, and wait, no, I made the chromatic singularity, I've made the paintballs, and then I made the chromatic compound, and now I've made refined radiance. That just leaves one last thing on this list. It's time to see if I can automate things.
Much later.
Okay, so I have done a few things. So, I was actually able to get the quantum singularity automation, and I managed to get it into chromatic compound. So what I did was, let's start with the gunpowder, because that was the thing that I was most worried about. So turns out there was actually a way for me to auto sift things, which was with this automatic sifter from Create. So I just brought my sand over here thanks to the whole system with these controller points. Kind of glad I found those. And now it's just makes more sand, which will automatically go over to here, which then gets ground down, which then goes over to here to get crushed from dust, which then gets us gunpowder as well as a few other things. That gunpowder remains there, and over here we have another control access point to act as an export and import for our automation of TNT, which we are also going to use pretty pipes for. I haven't touched this thing in a long time. Not sure if it's easier or more difficult with this one, but it was a very simple thing to get. I just need to use these retrieval upgrades, each one connected to their own individual network to then pull things out in the right way. But then once I had everything, it was good. So then once those things are full, it then compresses all down, goes into the controller access point, which then gets sent up over here as our TNT. This is where this gets a little bit interesting. Let me go ahead and grab my jetpack so that way I can show you all what's going on up here. So right up here, we have a little rudimentary timer right here, which every so often will tick and cause our two droppers and our dispenser to drop their TNT and items. Now, why this is going to be a small problem is that if I don't have all 3 of these things at once, it's not going to work. And as you can all see, there's already a problem there with items not always going in. But should it actually make it, it will then go out onto this conveyor belt right here, which then puts the quantum singularities in here for our die setup, which I have here, and the die is just on a pusher upgrade into here, which then mixes and gives us our chromatic singularities. Now, one thing, I did have to waterlog that because otherwise it would blow up, but I really don't know a better way to go about these things. So if you guys have a better suggestion, You can leave them down in the comments, but by the time I see them, I'll probably already be done recording the series. So, yeah. But hey, hindsight's always fun. So now, if I wanted to automate this thing into the paintballs and automate those things into the chromatic compounds and stuff, I definitely can. But I really want to save that for when I can actually automate the whole refined radiance thing, and hopefully for getting the actual mechanism soon. But before we can do that, as established, we are gonna need to fight a wither. But we can go ahead and check off this last quest right here and erase everything for next time. So do you like this video? Good. But be sure to check out our last Create a Mechanism video where we got our Ender Pearl automation and our item filtering. Bye-bye!